I'm so excited. Welcome to day one of the Build Your Badass Business Challenge. It's finally here. I've been getting lots of messages from all of you with all the amazing content that I will share with all of you in the effort of growing your badass business, your mission-driven business. So I want to say hi. I hope you had a great weekend. And before we start, I just want to go over some housekeeping rules just to ensure that everybody understands what to expect from this challenge and how to get the most of it. I think that's the most important part, how to get the most of this challenge. So I'll be running the challenge here in the group starting today up until Sunday every day at 12 p.m. Eastern. Um, I would like you to plan ahead in your calendar and carve out about 30 minutes to 45 minutes for each of the sessions that I'll be conducting here live with all you guys. So there's also a workbook, and you would have to fill out a link for that. So if you don't have your workbook yet, just drop a comment underneath this video, and me and my team will make sure that we get that over to you as soon as possible. I ask you that you work alongside your workbook. It's not a long workbook. Me and my team worked on condensing all the information so you get the biggest ahas and the biggest breakthroughs that you possibly can in a short amount of time, so that you can move your business from where you are to where you would want it to be. So I will start with who is this challenge for, these series of workshops that I'll be conducting on these 10 days. So this is for coaches, any coaches, consultants, speakers, healers, course content creators, social media strategists, VAs, accountants, lawyers, pretty much anyone that has already a service that they're providing online, or if they would like to start providing a service online. So that's who this workshop is for. And then the next thing, I want to just give you a brief introduction of myself so that you get to know a little bit about me and why am I here, really what qualifies me to speak to you about all these different strategies that we'll talk about, and as well as mindset, because it's all connected. What qualifies me to speak to you about that? So I'm Alona Lapari, and I want to start a little bit early on in my journey, in my business entrepreneurship journey, I would say, which actually started very early on. I have a typical immigrant story. I came here when I was 15 in the US. I'm initially Albanian. It's a small country in Europe. It's a beautiful country to visit, by the way. We have beautiful natural beauties there. So I immigrated here with my parents when I was 15. And one of the beginning, obviously, stories of struggle, I seen my parents struggle. I was the oldest child. So I would say I have a lot of memories over my parents struggling to get a job, struggle with the language, and things like that. So one of my first entrepreneurial journeys, I would say, was when my father invested in real estate. He invested in a few properties that he was flipping and also that he was using as rental income. So because I was the oldest child, and I also spoke English, and I really dug in deep while I was still going to school, high school at that time, into my early 20s, because this lasted a couple of years. I was managing. I was pretty much the main person alongside my father managing his properties. He was about 6 to 7 properties that he purchased at the time. So I got a very early exposure to work ethic and, how to watch expenses and how to, make sales and how to really make sure that those properties ran really well. So that was my first experience as a business person. And I really think that builded me and it shaped the journey that I took alongside after that. So then the next thing is I worked for a corporation after that. After I graduated with my business management and finance degree, I started working for a corporation. This was a corporation, $500,000 in sales yearly, annually, and with $30 billion in profit annually. There's a big corporation, and I move up myself through the corporate ladder. I've done a few positions from management trainee to human resource manager to marketing and sales to regional director. That was my position before I actually made the leap from corporate to my own business. And the reason I did that, after growing teams and growing a very profitable region with very low turnover, one of my specialties was actually developing high talent for the company. And increasing sales and customer engagement in the company, I decided that I was no longer fulfilled there, and I wanted to take all of that I knew and wanted to start my own business. So this is where I landed into coaching, and even that journey has progressed. I started as executive coach because I was an executive after I left corporate. So that was the most comfortable transition for me then. Then I went on to career coaching, and then I have been positioned as a business coach after I was able to build my own coaching business up to 6 figures and up within the first 2 years. So then now I'm at the different level of up to that $1 million of sales. So now I would like to take all of that I have learned and coach other entrepreneurs, service-based entrepreneurs that would like to take their businesses from 6 and 7 figures. So that's a little bit about me, and that's what I will do in all these 10 days of this free challenge. I will share lots of my experience of what I know and what I have done for myself to build my 7-figure company at this point. So I'm really, really excited to dive into content. But before I do that, I just want you to say hi in the comments, whoever is here in the challenge. I'll be able to look at that. I want to look at your comments and see who is here joining me today. Hello, hello, everyone. That's amazing. Hi, Jill. Hey, Terry. Hey, Nika. Oriana. Hi, everyone. Ina, thank you so much for being here. Hi, Arumi. Awesome, awesome. So either just drop a hello or just drop a wave. I like the wave emojis. It just feels like friendlier. So just do any one of those. Hello, Silva. Hello, Marcy. That's beautiful. So thanks for coming on. So let me dive right into the content that I have for you for this first day of the challenge. So the first thing I want to talk about is this energetic shift that we need to make as entrepreneurs with today's online world and navigating today's online world. I'm sure that if you've been an online entrepreneur, it's not new to you that the online world is beautiful to create new opportunities, and we're so blessed that we could take all our expertise, all our experience, and we can actually come online and offer that to customers and clients, people that actually need our services and our products. So that is the first thing that I'm grateful for every day. Maybe just, I want to remind you that that's a gift that we have today, the flexibility that it has created for a lot of us. But also on the other side of coin, as I say, with every good benefit, there's also, something to watch out for, right? Because otherwise, we can't have everything we want. So obviously with that has come a saturated online world, right? At any moment, anyone can come up and say that they do what you do, right? There's very low barrier, especially in the coaching industry, to entry. So what that has done is caused a lot of confusion out there with clients, has driven the demand, right, for coaching much lower, because now there's more people that are actually can provide the same service that you can provide. So it's a lot of noise out there in the online world. And the indication and what's happening right now is that a lot of people are doing copy and paste messaging, right? So like I said, anyone can show up and they could say that they do what you do. So there's a lot of copy and pasting out there. There's a lot of people that are really using the same messaging for their services that they offer. And they're really just being melted into the whole big pot of the online world. And they're not standing out, right? And that's a problem, because in order to build your brand, in order for you to get known for what you do, you definitely need to learn how to stand out. And we talk about authenticity a lot, right? We talk about, yes, but there's only one of you. And yes, that is very true. And I'm a big believer in authenticity. There is still some very practical business methods that you can follow so that you can stand out. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that as well, a little bit after, before the end of the day, of how do you know? How do you stand out? How do you know what makes you different? Right? And a lot of this information, what's happening is that a lot of people are looking for this information on the outside. This is why we have a lot of coaches that are maybe making many other customers like them. So there's a coach that has a method, there's another customer that's following that method, and that might not necessarily be the right thing for you, or intuitively might not be the right thing for you, because your unique authenticity is completely different from that coach's methods. So there's a lot of different things that are going on like that. So right now we need to move into an energetic shift from being the follower, just following what's happening, just going with what's happening, to being a leader, right? That's where that factor of standing out starts happening. How do you become the leader? How do you become the thought leader in your market, in your industry, and not the follower that is copy and pasting what's already out there? So if you're already regurgitating what's already out there, then what makes you different, and why should a client actually hire you for the expertise that you are providing? And I'll talk to you a little bit about what is the difference between how to create value with your offer and how to differentiate that from your own worth, because I think it's a big concept that has to be broken down a little bit. So we have to go back, and I know we talk a lot of courses out there. I've taken lots of trainings, I've taken lots of courses, and they all talk about what is your why, right? What is your reason why? And that is always very, very important, right? That's always very important, because that connects to your authenticity. That connects to why are you doing what you're doing? What gets you up in the morning to go through this entrepreneur up and down journey? It's a roller coaster journey, right? And a lot of you know that already if you're in this journey. So what is your why? But what I would say is not take this superficial approach of like, what is your why? My why is that I would like to build a business. That was my why at the beginning, once I didn't really understand these concepts, right? I'd like to build a business because I can, why not, right? That was my why, but that's a very superficial why. So in your workbook, I have some questions laid out for you where you can dig a little deeper. And yes, I know no one wants to do the work, the inner work, but I am, my approach of what I've grown into in my business journey is to really add spirituality to business, because all the answers that we need, even though our indication is to go get them out there and just to see like just to go see who we admire. I can't speak today. I was getting ready for this challenge, and I was kind of like talking to some other people. So I think I'm already like tired out. But our indication is to go in the outside world and to look at people we admire. That's what I wanted to say. Look at people who we admire and actually think that whatever they're doing, it must be something that we must be doing, especially if you're not getting the results in your business that you are looking for. So, but that's not the right way to do it, right? You need to go within, and this is where you find that authentic why. You need to do the inner work to figure out exactly what makes sense to you and what is true to your personality, your life experience, your personal story, your reason why you want to do what you do, and the way you want to make the impact you want to make. I'm all about mission driven entrepreneurship, because to me that my why has developed throughout the years, but it's all about the impact that you can make on people, serving them. I'm into serving leadership, right? You are always, once you find that voice, once you find your leader within you, because I think there's always, we all have the leader within us. Once you find that, then you want to, your job becomes, it becomes a duty, I would say. So your job becomes about sharing that with as many people and serving the world with that gift. So, but that is the inner work. So anyway, you need to find your authentic why that is different from anyone out there. And that's actually what's going to help you with the standing out, right? Because you'll have that, those aha moments, and you'll know exactly when you stand for. And I'll talk a little bit about conviction marketing, right? Because that's like the stamp that really will help you put a mark on your brand, right? And that's what you want to be building. You want to be building today, in today's world, you want to be building a global brand. Don't be afraid to build a global brand and come out of that. I'm a coach, to building a platform, building something bigger than yourself, right? And really eyeing that vision, figuring out, having a long-term vision and figuring out what do you stand for, what are your values. And you know what, even if you don't have a team, that's okay. We all start as solo entrepreneurs, right? In order for you to grow in a team, you have to start as a solo entrepreneur. But that is even more important, to learn how to self lead yourself and what are your values that you will be showing up in your business every day. 80% of business success is about showing up, even when you don't want to, right? It's about exposure. And I'll speak about that actually in tomorrow's challenge about conviction marketing and how to expose yourself. What are some, I have some pillars that I follow, that I want to share with you tomorrow, but how do you expose yourself out there in the world, right? How do you share your gift with everyone? I say, if no one knows you, it doesn't matter how great you are, how gifted you are, how many talents you have, and how much you are actually operating on your purpose. If people don't know about you, then it's a waste. It's a waste of your gift and what you can do and serve the world, because no one knows about you. So that's why it's very important to tie in all these different components of building a empire, a mission driven business that you could scale and you can leave a legacy. You can leave a legacy for. I mean, I know we all start our business. I started it because I wanted freedom, right? I said I worked so many years to build someone else's vision. Now I want to build my own vision, right? So we start our businesses that way. And then we realize that we're wearing all the hats at the beginning. We're overworking, we're overkilling ourselves, because we have to, in addition to the skills we already own, or we have transferred from our prior experience, we have to learn lots of new skills, especially with online entrepreneurship. We have to learn lots of new things. And at the beginning, you were wearing all the hats, right? And it's very easy to get sucked into the day to day, the tactical things that we have to do, and lose sight of the leader within you and that vision that you started your business for, right? So it's very important to just sit down and just come out of your business so you can do this inner work. A lot of times we have to come out of our business so that we can actually reflect back on what we're doing, what's working, what is not working, what do we need to change. And I know that our indication is always to go get the newest strategy, reels are here, let's just go dance around on videos, and maybe that's the thing that I need. That's not what it is, right? So I see, unfortunately, a lot of people on the online world is doing the next thing and the next thing. And I speak to them one day, and then in a week, they're doing something else. A week prior, they were a service provider of a financial service, and now tomorrow they're with an MLM company and they're offering a product. So this inconsistency, it's like you're never going to get known, and you're always going to be starting from scratch. Every time you are changing a niche, you're changing what you offer, you're starting from scratch, especially if you don't have a community you've built. And I will talk about that as well, because community building is one of the key factors in scaling your business. So yes, definitely figure out your mission and your values. What do you stand for? Because those are so important when you are on your own, because there's no one holding you accountable unless you are working with a coach. And I'll talk about how much I value mentors and coaches and getting support. Unless you're doing that, you need to work on your own self leadership and your own vision and values, so that you build those habits yourself before you can even bring in a team. You are building the foundation, and if the foundation is cracked and you already don't have that knowledge and those that awareness of your vision and your values and what you stand for, then how are you going to deliver that or articulate that to your team or the people that you'll be adding on? And I'm not even going to customers, because that's the other one, right? I mean, how do you articulate your value to your customers? That's another thing that a lot of online entrepreneurs struggle with, because if you don't know what you stand for, it's all connected, right? It's all like connecting the dots. If you don't know what you stand for, what your values, mission driven is of your company, then how are you supposed to talk about that with your customer, right? Because you don't know, you're confused. So clarity is power. Clarity is power. The more clarity you have, the more powerful you become, and the more you can relate that to your client that you would like to serve. Um, Believe you can be a global brand, right? And that's actually what you need to be working towards, building that brand that is very closely connected with your authentic personal power and personality, right? Especially if you have a service, then you are the brand until you build a team. And obviously then, that's your brand is your business. But it's got to go in phases. It's got to go into in different baby steps, as I say. Personally, I'm a strategist because I am a step-by-step, very logical approach together with spirituality. So I think being intuitive in business is also another great skill that can be developed. And if you put the two together, then you really are mission driven and you are internally driven in your business. And that's what's going to start making you different from all the other online entrepreneurs that maybe are regurgitating the same message and the same information that's already out there available online. Okay, so I just wanted to stop in and see all the comments. Thank you. Awesome. I'm glad you guys are resonating with this. Yes, Jill, I'm struggling with finding my own personal unique why. Yeah, feel like it's basic but still relevant to any other people's on why. It makes sense. Absolutely. So yeah, and that evolves. I don't know, Jill, what phase you're in your business, how many years you're into it, but your why evolves, but it's still got to be very internally driven. It's got to come from within. Go back to, I always say, we started our business for a reason, right? And this ties in beautifully to the next part of the workshop. So we started our business for a reason. What is that big problem that you're really pissed off about? Right? I mean, I'm that kind of, that's why one of my words in my brand is badass, because that is very attractive to me personally. I always want to do something that's different, right? I always want to do something that's attractive to me, that's intuitively attractive to me, And it's something that I really feel strongly about that's not being done out there in the marketplace, right? So what is that big problem or small problem? Sometimes big problems overwhelm us. So what is that problem that maybe you personally have struggled with, that you've seen, consistent, what's missing out there in the marketplace? What is something that's already not being done? What is a need that has not been met? Where is a niche in your market that is underserved, that everyone else keeps skipping over it, right? And keep missing it because they're just focused on, following the next, follow the leader, right? Follow the next leader. We don't want to follow any leader. We want to develop the leader within us. So what is that big problem or small problem that you see that you could do better, that you could do different? And you feel like if that tweak was made, and sometimes it's a small tweak, right? If you feel like if that tweak is made, then you will absolutely serve the customers better, and you're passionate about that. You're like, I can do this better. I mean, that's how I started my business. It's like I can do it better. I have experience, I have passion, I have fire, I have a lot to share. And I started with executive coaching, and I had a very niche down approach to how I did my coaching because of what I personally struggled with as a woman leader and what I also saw other women leaders struggle with. So you're always, as a business person, you got to be the other biggest, greatest skill that you can develop is observation, intuition and observation. You constantly have to observe what is going on in the market and where is it that you can make a difference. So those two skills, develop those two skills, and you will definitely be very in tune with your own journey. As I say, I share it many times. It's a journey. It's a journey. And a lot of times I feel so, bad for a lot of other people that maybe are, and I guess I feel bad for myself at the beginning too, because I was doing so much comparison. It's like, and I was comparing myself. It's so unfair to me because I was comparing myself to an entrepreneur that's been an entrepreneur for 10 years, right? So we need to really understand the difference because it's a journey, it's an evolvement journey, and it's a process. So the process, that person that's built a business for 10 years is they've gone through their own journey and process to get to where they are. There's no secrets. Business is not theory. Business is technical. And that really goes in line with my logical brain, right? Business is like a step-by-step tactical thing, right? So if you are comparing yourself to that person and you haven't been through the process, you're doing yourself a disservice. And then no wonder you get upset or discouraged when you're not getting the results. And you are just lost out there and you're trying to really get help for your problem, but you are getting advice from someone that has been in the business for that many years. So you really have to understand the difference. There is a big, big difference. And it's always great to learn skills and listen to things out there and what's happening, but more information is not necessarily better, right? Because right now our human brain, and I'll talk, mindset is my other passion because I feel like that's 80% of any success, but our brain wants to always have more information to keep us safe. So we'd rather like get more information. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our inner guidance. We rather just get more information from someone else and really look out for someone to really help us and save the day. But that's never going to work, right? You're the only one that can save the day in your business. So we're always looking for that. And then we're always looking for more certification, for more knowledge, for more books, for more this and that. But that's just more information bogging you down and really help feeding in your procrastination and really driving you away from all those day-to-day tasks that you need to be doing that are income producing money. If you're not making sales in your business, you're not in business, you're barely surviving. That is the number one reason businesses fail. Lack of cash flow, because they can't really turn around their services or products enough in the market so they can get back a dollar amount, trade in service for dollars, right? So that is the number one reason businesses can't survive. And that is, that is one of those things that you really need to look at. Um, okay, messaging in your business. Everything we do is messaging, and this ties in with the marketing, right? Messaging is everywhere, right? On your website, on your social media content, anywhere you share information. If you've been speaker in someone else's community, what you talk about, right? So the messaging that you share everywhere is how people relate to you, and how you're actually working with building in that thought leadership, building in that get known factor, and really niching yourself down to an expertise, and to that expert status that you need to have, so that people trust you and your brand, and people get attracted by your messaging, and you are speaking to them. They're like, oh my gosh, Alona is talking to me right now. And that is powerful, right? Because we resonate with the message, and then we start building trust with the person. And that is how we hire people, right? I mean, not just online. Oh, I forgot to talk about my experience with local businesses. I have two local family businesses. In addition to my coaching businesses, but I love that I have that experience as well, because I'm not just an online entrepreneur. I've had experience with a local business. It works the same way, right? If you have a store and people come to you live, not virtually, and they buy your product or service, it works the same way. It's the messaging, right? How are you speaking to their problems? How are you building trust and building your brand with a community? Because most likely, if you have a local business, you are building your brand with your community. How are you speaking their language? How are you identifying with their pain points? And how is it that you can build that brand so they can trust you? And then you can always go to the same shop, like, right? I mean, I don't know locally, but I would go to the same shops to get my coffee because of the people there, right? And even though line sounds like, so different, if you really go back to the core, it's all about human relationships, right? It's all about that. Whether now we have new methods to connect virtually, and that's the other lucky part of us being able to build global brands, because we can reach people anywhere now. But we have to go back to, we're losing sense of basic. We're losing sense of, we're getting too hyped up with all this technology and all this online features that come out every end of the week. There's a reel, or there's a new feature, there's a new social media platform. And yes, we're blessed to be able to have all of this, but you don't need to be in all these places. I think we have to go back to the basics and really connect as humans. Human relationship and community building has always been my passion. I was a big networker at my company, because I always understood. I always say, actually, I've said this many times, if you give me $1 million, or if you give me good quality relationships, human relationships, I would always choose relationships, because the relationships are the ones that are going to have an ROI. They're an investment. They're an investment of your time and energy. And that's why we need to we need to go back to basics. I feel like we need to go back to basics, even online, because if we just remember those, basic principles of human interaction, and take that online as well, it'll make more sense to you, and it'll reduce the anxiety of sales conversations, getting on sales calls, consultations, how to qualify your clients, like all these processes and steps that you need to have in place for your systems in your business, that will make your business profitable. But we got to go back to basics. So three key things for you to include on your messaging, right? So as I keep harping on this, is why are you different? What do you have to bring to the table that is different from someone else? And you got to do some homework, as we talked about with that. You got to stand on your conviction. You got to stand on your conviction. You have to know what you stand for. Like I said, what is the problem that pisses you off? Or what is the problem that you're most passionate about solving that you don't see a solution for yet? That will be your clue. to really figure out, okay, I need to stick with this. Future projection, right? So you have to be able, as a leader, you have to be able to not just be in the moment, right? That's why I think working on your business rather than inside your business is valuable, because you don't think. If you are the person, you know, in your business doing the tactical stuff every day, you can work on the vision, and you have to work on the vision and figure out what is the market going towards, right? You have to be able to anticipate. Tony Robbins says this, right? Leaders anticipate. You have to be able to anticipate where the market is going in 5 years, in 10 years. Predict the future? Yeah, a little bit, right? Because you need to be moving ahead in your own journey, in your own lane, of course, but you need to really intuitively figure out where is the business going and what is the next thing happening with the market and this industry, your particular industry, right? So what are the trends? What's going to be needed? And be obsessed with how to make your customers' lives easier. I tell you, that's who always wins. Whoever can make their customers' lives easier, faster, give it to them faster, better, convenience will always work with human beings, because we don't like to work hard for our things unless we have a better solution. So that's another very important key secret to figuring out, okay, how do I do something that's different, and how do I always improve on what I'm doing? Fall in love with your customers and not your products or services. This is where human relationships come into play again. Fall in love with your customers, not what you offer. Your offer can change. It will change. It will always change, because you need to always upkeep, and you're always improving your expertise, your intuition, all your skills, and where the market is going. You always need to adapt your offer, right? To what is needed out there in the market. And yes, it's great, and it's very important to work on things we're passionate about, but we also have to be practical. And this is where, you know, the practicality comes together with, in the business world, with the passion and with the dream and the why we do what we do. You have to be practical. What is needed out there? And what is it that I need to learn? You have to adapt. Another one is adaptability. And I speak about this in my podcast as the Life School Masterclass show. I speak about all these different things about how adaptability is such an important skill in business. If you can't adapt, and if you're always, you know, doing same thing, and yes, consistency is key, and that's another skill, but you have to learn how to do it in the right timing and in the right steps. Like I said, it's not theory. Business is not theory. It's practical strategy. So doing things in the right steps. Sometimes you might be doing the right thing, but you're doing it in the wrong sequence of things, and you are not getting the results you want. No wonder. So it's also doing it in the right sequence. Aspirational results you bring. You got to be addicted with value. How much value can you offer to your customers? Not how much you're worth. Your self-worth is your own inner work, right? I mean, that's nothing to do with your customer. Your customers they don't only care about what the results can you deliver for me, right? What can you do? So what value, if I invest with you with this program, what can you do for me? What are the results that you can provide? You always have to be addicted to providing amazing results. That's why I say fall in love with your customers. And I would add, fall in love with your results. Fall in love with the results that you provide your customer, and fall in love with the improvement of delivering that result faster, better, shorter amount of time, you know, whatever you have to improve on your processes over time. That's where your focus should always be. And we'll talk about how to craft a really amazing offer tomorrow, a high ticket offer, where you have a structured system around. Because if you don't have that, then you cannot scale your business. You'll be the only one that can do the coaching, that can offer that service. But that's not what we're here to do today. We're here to expand. We're here to scale. In order to do that, you got to have you need a predictable system that you could teach someone else. Okay, how do you articulate your value? This is a big one. I've seen this with when I was doing career coaching, when I was doing executive coaching, we all struggle with this, especially if you're in your area of, I call, genius, or something you do naturally, which most likely is a good component of your business. You do not see your value, right? You don't appreciate the things that you have to bring to the table because they come naturally to you, and you just don't see it. You're just blindsided by it. So you have to do lots of work with articulating the results, the value that your offer brings to your customer, and really articulating why is that important and how it will help them and what will they get out of that, right? So you have to articulate all these things to your potential customer. Otherwise, if they don't know what I say, no exposure. If they don't know, then you have no sales and you cannot share your gifts, which is the most frustrating part for me. Okay. I will be ending today's workshop. We're almost at the end. So you have a workbook. So like I said, I'll give you a little bit of homework. Just do some self-reflection. On the first page of the workbook, you have the self-reflection questions on finding your authentic why, and a few other questions of what I talked about and what makes you different. And then come back with that tomorrow. So I'll come back on live at 12 again. And tomorrow, like I said, I will talk about 5 systems to organic marketing, talk more about building relationships, building a community, and then how to craft your high ticket offer, right? How to take all of this articulation that we worked on today, how to take the X factor, the get known factor, and how to actually craft a structured offer that you can improve over time, and also delegate out to your team as you're building your team as well. So that's what I will talk about tomorrow. Thank you so much to all of you. There's a lot of you that have showed up today. Amazing job. Thank you for showing up for yourself and your business. As I said, 80% of business success is about showing up. So you did just that today. You showed up for yourself and your business. I'm very grateful that you have been here. And I really hope all the information and content that I shared on this first workshop is valuable, and we'll build that momentum over the days that we'll be together, so that you can actually break through and really use that intuitive sense that you all have, that we all have inside of us, to really unblock yourself from where you might be so that you can get to the next level. Thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time. Bye, everyone.